Good afternoon, TradeWinds family. Thank you so much for joining me for this webinar, which will look a little different than the ones that we've done in the past. Aside from being more educational or more of a presentation, this one is going to be a test spin for a really neat technology program that we've brought on board to help deepen your client experience with us here. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Miller Hoffman, and I serve as our Vice President of Client Experience here on the TradeWinds side. An important part of that client experience is ensuring our advisors have the best tools available to best match your needs and wants as a client, and certainly for things that really hit our bottom line. What we'll be taking a look at today is everyone's favorite topic, which is taxes. Speaking of something that hits our bottom line, a recent study was just published that found that Americans will spend a little over $520,000 just in taxes over the course of their lifetime. To most, this number strikes us as very high. Certainly more, some will pay more than that, some will pay less. But just looking at this as an expense that we need to account for, if nothing else, is a remarkable part of your overall financial picture and something we certainly need to be aware of and proactive with as we envision what your financial picture looks like today and certainly tomorrow. If you've met with me here as of late, I've been using the phrase, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And certainly taxes get in the middle of those two things, what we're making versus what we're keeping. I'm excited to show you today the technology program that we're using to better bridge those gaps and make sure we are making and keeping as much as possible. All right, you are seeing a screen here with a handful of scenarios with the Holistiplan logo in the upper left-hand side. As I mentioned before, this is a relatively recent program that we've partnered with, and we've gotten glowing reviews so far in kind of the testing phase, beta phase. I'm excited to get to release it virtually to everyone to ensure we have good infrastructure in place to make sure we're matching what you are looking for. The way Holistiplan works is we're able to gather your most recent tax returns. So 2024 has just passed us by, and maybe if you were still in the middle of filing taxes or an extension or some of the delays that we've received in this state as North Carolinians, 2024 has come and gone for many of us, which is why we're reaching out now to hopefully grab something that's at the top of your inbox or at the top of your saved file list. Holistiplan will gather this information and we'll use it to feed your information through it. As you can see, populate a handful of items like your income sources, things like deductions and credits that you may have access and eligibility to. Before I scroll down much more in terms of detail income-wise, you'll see why this is important to us. We want to get a base case of where are we coming from last year. So I'm already zooming ahead to 2025 just for example purposes. Whether you're an accumulator, so someone who is building that nest egg, you're still saving, you are growing your overall resources, versus someone who is a retiree. Maybe you are depending on your investments and your savings to make ends meet from month to month, year to year. And even those of you who find yourself in a bit of a 1 foot in and 1 foot out mode. What if we're retired, but maybe still working part-time or have other income sources that we need to account for, both this year and for years to come? For those of you who are familiar with the front page of an income tax return, 1040 is the popular form that most individuals use. You'll see a lot of these rows aim to highlight and gather the popular income sources that virtually all of us have as individuals. Whether it's things like wages or earned income, we're showing up to a job and being paid in exchange for our services, but also things like passive income, things like interest or dividends that mainly retirees may value, or even as an accumulator, what does your tax load look like year in and year out? For my retirees, IRA distributions, what are we withdrawing from our pre-tax retirement accounts, and how does that impact our overall bottom line tax-wise? You will notice a handful of these other rows as well, trying to capture what your income sources look like, and for us on the TradeWinds side to do better tax planning and to ultimately remove any surprises that may come down the pike. I haven't met anyone yet who loves the tax surprise, so that is ultimately what we are after. We could easily go in and envision different scenarios. You'll see Jack and Jane are my example couple here. You can envision different scenarios. What if we took more or less or kept it the same? even with the understanding that we know tax law is going to change every handful of years, and it certainly feels like it's been more frequent over the last couple years too. Social Security, you'll notice, for is really important retirees wise. What's really key for us on the investment management side is having a good handle over what capital gains have been reported in the past, especially any losses that may have been recognized, along with how that impacts our future income or future scenarios that we can envision. What happens if we have a significant capital gain? We needed to make a sell in the portfolio, or we sold a business, we sold an investment property that you have. All of these things contribute to your overall tax picture, and we want to be more proactive in how we engage you as a result. For those of you who are self-employed or run a small business, Schedule E is going to be the main form that we report income sources from, which we will gather from the return that you provide to us. Schedule E being more passive income, rental income. Schedule F for my fishermen and my farmers out there. You will know exactly what Schedule F looks like for you. Ultimately, we are going to gather and better proactively predict and illustrate what the impact looks like on total income. As I scroll down here, what your adjusted gross income looks like, your standardized and itemized deductions. As I expand this here a bit, you'll see some of the popular itemized deductions, things like medical expenses, state and local taxes, mortgage interest. Here's some real estate taxes and property taxes. Down here is charity, just for some examples. So are we truly getting the best bang for our buck as we make that decision between itemizing and standardizing? The impact on your overall taxable income. How much are we formally reporting to Uncle Sam, and what portion is actually taxable that he is interested in knowing? And ultimately, one of the most important rows that we are curious to know is total tax. How much are we actually forking over to Uncle Sam and what I call nephew, North Carolina, for those of you who are with us here in the Raleigh area or North Carolina. But regardless of what state you reside, the program works the same. We'll be able to get an idea of where you are and predict what your federal tax load looks like. What bracket that you're finding yourself in, and how much more income or less income is going to impact which bracket we find ourselves in, being really important too. Overall, the main theme I want you walking away with is TradeWinds aiming to be more proactive in different decisions we can make throughout the year that really impact what this total tax figure looks like. Are there ways for us to defer taxes strategically? Are there ways to avoid or be smart about when we actually trigger certain taxes or taxable events? And even in addition to that, when does it make sense to pay more in taxes in anticipation for higher income years, or maybe a tax code that plans to scale up in the future? Certainly more person by person, client by client, personalized conversation we would aim to have with you. Overall, what a neat program that we can use to adjust different variables in real time, whether, again, it's taking that new job for my accumulator, whether it's taking a large distribution for a really important family vacation, whether it's being strategic for Roth conversions for both my accumulators and my retirees. What does the overall impact have on our total tax that we'll report, not just this year, but from the TradeWinds and financial planning side, we're very curious in your lifetime tax bill, not just what it looks like year in and year out. I will stop sharing my screen. That is a test run or a test spin of Holistiplan. We're really excited to better engage you on this side and a really important element of your overall financial plan. Once again, it's not what we make, it's what we keep. We're focused on both of those elements, and strategically, how can we keep as much as possible to fund your financial plan for both yourself, your spouse, your family at large, along with the other financial goals that you almost certainly have. As a part of the campaign and the education that we want to provide you, we want to gather your information safely and securely. Your privacy and your information security is paramount to us. As attached to a handful of the emails and other blasts that we will send out are instructions for how to upload your information safely and securely. For those of you familiar with the documented vault through the TradeWinds portal, a really popular option that we'd like to do, along with some secure messaging that we offer. on our side. Here's to tax planning. Allow us to come in and provide more value, partner with your existing CPA or tax advisor. Or for those of you who are a TurboTaxer or use another similar program, allow us to work on this with you, not as tax filers and advisors ourselves, but more so as a part of your financial plan. That's what we are here to do. Your interests come first, and certainly taxes are a part of that. Feel free to contact myself or any advisor here at TradeWinds if you have questions or concerns. We are here and certainly ready to help support you. We're good to see you, educate, and empower you to make the best decisions that you can when it comes to your finances. Thanks so much. Bye.
We are not affiliated with Holistiplan, and any reference made are solely for illustrative or educational purposes. This communication is provided for informational purposes only and does not constitute an endorsement, recommendation, or approval of Holistiplan or any of its services.